Welcome to the Rafferty Connection podcast. I've had many well-respected and admired guests. Tim Roth, Ron Jeremy, Danny Trejo and Walton Goggins amongst others. However, allow me to introduce quite possibly my favourite interviewee so far, a childhood hero of mine, and one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He's accomplished everything in his career. 5-time WWF champion, 2-time World Heavyweight champion, and a 2-time Intercontinental champion amongst many other accolades. If that's not all, he received a place in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006, forever cementing him as one of the elite in professional wrestling. He's wrestled in some of the major company and is well loved and admired by his fans across the world. My guest is also an author, having written the critically acclaimed autobiography Hitman, My Real Life in the Cartoon World of Professional Wrestling. He's known as the excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. It is truly an honour to welcome Bret The Hitman Hart. Bret, welcome.
It's nice to be back.
Thank you very much for doing this interview. Much appreciated.
Okay.
Well, I guess one of my first questions is you recently made your return to the WWE after 12 years. So that's surprising pretty much everybody after the controversial circumstances that took place in Survivor Series 97. What made you decide to go back?
I think there's a lot of different reasons, but I think it just seemed like the right time and the right thing to do to finally put it to bed. I think I'm just kind of, get everything behind everybody. I think the more years that it goes on, the more there's nothing that can be gained by it anymore or done by it. And so I think it was just time to sort of put it to bed and get rid of it so that it doesn't become a hindrance to possibly even the Hart Dynasty and just to smooth things out, I think. And I think, for me personally, I think it was, I felt like something fun to do. So I think that was probably the biggest reason. I think it just seemed like a good fun to get out and be the Hitman again for a few months or whatever.
Mm. Were there any major issues going into your appearance that you had to deal with? I guess health issues or anything like that?
Not so far, anyway.
Also, did you consult anyone about possibly going back to them before you agreed to go back? Any wrestlers, family members, anything like that?
No, I don't generally. I usually, especially in situations where I have to make a decision based on, it's strictly the Hitman sort of and it's sort of my. In the end, it can only be my decision what to do with it. I would never go to someone else to tell me what to do. I go through lawyers and people like that basically try to get me what I want. But I know what I want all the time.
It was pretty much inevitable that you'd run into Shawn Michaels again, who you've had quite a checkered past with, so to speak. I guess, how did it feel to see him after all this time?
Well, I think, I know me and Shawn have, we have a history that, neither one of us has ever trusted one another very much. But at the same time, I think I genuinely found that he was sincerely sorry for everything that happened, and I think he was quite relieved and felt a lot of pressure off him. I think he felt that the whole the handshake thing with him and I was quite sincere on both sides.
How is the relationship now? You on speaking terms?
Yeah, we don't really speak a lot, but we speak, casually or openly anyway. No hostilities.
Was it true that you improvised all your dialogue in the ring in both of your appearances with Vince and Shawn?
Yeah, it was pretty much, just came out the way it did. I don't think I only saw Shawn briefly for a few minutes earlier in the afternoon, and prior to that I hadn't seen him in 12 years. So what was really happened in the ring was unrehearsed and was pretty much, I think it was just genuine how we felt. There was some effort to follow the storyline a little bit, what they sort of wanted us to do, but we spoke from the heart.
I guess looking at the backstage atmosphere now since you've returned, how much has it changed from when you were last in the company?
That's a good question. I think they're pretty much the same to me. They seem more, if anything, a little more confident today, and a little happier than maybe they have a better schedule. And at the same time, I think that there's really little difference between then and now.
Is there anyone in the company right now, by what you've seen so far, that you think has potential?
Oh yeah, I think the vast majority of them all got potential. I think some of the grow wrestlers are outstanding, and a lot of the younger ones coming up are going to get a lot better. And I think Cody Rhodes and DiBiase, for example, are two of the better workers, maybe as good a workers as you'll find in the business today. And I think Randy Orton is a phenomenal worker. And so you can look at all kinds of guys, even Kofi Kingston and PN News. They're all really good as far as being the new generation of wrestlers. They're really, I think, raising the bar and carrying the flag pretty high.
What do you think of Sheamus? Because he's been kind of put into that spotlight pretty early, and he's not really been around for long. What do you think of him?
I think he's doing a good job. You're right. He's walking in a big pair of shoes, and he's at least walking. He's filling the role, and he's doing his part. I think for a guy that's been in the business as long as he has, he's done a commendable job.
On a separate note, you once stated in an interview that you were in talks to do a follow-up to your very successful DVD. Has that progressed, or has that become the Hart Family DVD that's scheduled to be released pretty soon? No,
they're two different things. But the Volume 2 is something that I might do is a little ways off. It's I think it's something that it's sort of on a time frame. Like they've got a date for it, but they haven't come to it yet. It's not something. The other one, the first one, is still selling really well. So there's probably not going to be any rush to get the second one out for a little while.
If you were to do the second DVD, what would you put into it that you necessarily couldn't put into the first one?
I'd go back and I think quite easily pick out a bunch of really good matches that I had that people forgot about. Like that are not in the first one. I think, when I think of the match I had with Bob Backlund where I lost the title to him, and how Owen was involved in that, and Davey. It was actually quite a match. And there's a lot of drama in some of those kind of matches. And even the match I had with Yokozuna at WrestleMania when I also lost the title is another match I think that was probably the best match he ever had. And I think it's still a great match from a wrestling standpoint. And the Demolition when they fought the Hart Foundation at the SummerSlam, I think when we won the belts was a great match that wasn't included in the first one. So there's lots of little tidbits, even the Piper match, and I can go on and pick up quite a few more that were great matches that weren't in the first one.
The big talk in professional wrestling now is this sort of Monday Night Wars they're doing. The WWE and TNA kind of ran head-to-head Monday night shows, and you appeared on the January 4th one, and TNA had a January 4th one. What do you make of all of it?
I don't make much of it at all. I don't think they've got enough clout to call it a Monday Night War yet. I think TNA they actually may have had a product. I don't know what their product would be like once Hogan and Bischoff lend their brilliance to it. I really don't think that they have much in the way of ideas, and they'll have to just surprise everybody. But I don't expect anything of it. I think the show is better off without them.